What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. A book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and CreateSpace. A link will be in the description box below, as usual. This video is entitled The Power of the Baby Mama. The reason I'm making this video is because of the Nas Khalees thing. And a lot of times, you know, we as a group of people excuse too much behavior from quote-unquote baby mamas. That's why I'm using a stereotypical name. Now, they always say power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the things that these baby mamas can do come from a place of power. Corrupted power, but power nonetheless. You see, Khalees could say 9 years later she got beaten. People automatically just believe her. No evidence, no proof. See, people forget Me Too really, in false accusations against men, partially started in family court, where you could just say any old thing. And the court has to take it into consideration and demonize one person on nothing. Just hearsay. So that's part of the power. A baby mama can say anything. And it has to be taken into consideration and believed. The power is never being looked at as incompetent. See, you can insinuate a father is incompetent. Everybody goes along with the narrative. But a baby mama can prove to be incompetent over and over again. But is given a pass or carte blanche. Because part of the power is in being a woman and being emotional and your emotions changing. So for some odd reason, there's no such thing as a pattern, because the pattern has to fit the mood. So there has to have an angry pattern that says incompetent, a naive pattern that says incompetent, a happy pattern that says incompetent, depressed pattern that says incompetent, so on and so forth. So there's power in that, because if all the categories aren't checked, then you can never be seen as bad. There's power in blaming it on the baby daddy. See, anything that if something goes wrong in their life, it's the guy's fault. If something goes wrong in how they parent, it's the father's fault. If something goes wrong on how the kid acts in public, even though it might have been the way that they were taught that, it's the father's fault. Nothing, there's really no fault of a mother in society. Like, that's just part of the power of being a baby mama. And what I mean by that is this. Most baby mamas aren't blamed for their actions until their children are grown. That's power, because for the most influential years, they can do pretty much anything with the child and blame it on the father. And when that kid gets grown, you can quote unquote say they learned this from the mother, but they're grown, so this is their responsibility. That's why there's a lack of accountability in society at the moment, in general. Nobody acts like, people act like that doesn't exist, but that it is what it is. Part of the power is being a quote unquote the gatekeeper to the kid. When people could say, I'll let you be a father, you know how supremely arrogant you have to be? You can't FaceTime your kid because they don't want to. You can't call your kid because they won't answer. You can't call your kid or FaceTime your kid on their own doggone phone because they're the gatekeeper. But you can't. you can't go to the house and pick them up because, there's power in, I feel threatened because they showed up. Somebody call the police. Nobody wants to address that. And the police got to show up. And the only time you can show up if it's your designated weekend. You can't just pop up on a Wednesday, call them and say, I'm going to go, let me check on Junior, see what's going on. It's not your designated weekend. I got to call the cops. That's the power, right? Part of being a gatekeeper. You can say you don't like, the power is in saying, I don't trust my kid around you and those people, while simultaneously being a hypocrite and you as a mother having your children around bad character people that you mess with. That's the power of being a baby mama. The power of spin. And what I mean by spin, this is what I mean. That doggone rapper, the ignorant chick, Cardi B. She can go around stage, pregnant as all get out, twerking and popping, and people see no problem with that. Now, I was talking to a coworker, and this cracked me up because she did say this. She said, you know what? She saw it. And I think she's in her late 40s, early 50s, I think. She said, I hope she have a boy, because if she have a girl, this is going to go all bad. Because if this is the kind of mama you got while she carrying you, can't nobody, and nobody can take her away from that woman, because that's how the law is set up. So it's another power. That's why, the power is in, you get increasingly ignorant publicly because society just hops on this code quickly. The umbrella of womanhood can privately say this is a horrible mother, but publicly unite and say she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So they have a support system to keep the kid in their coven, which is crazy, but it is what it is. To the point where even that coven breaks apart over time, and they don't like the person because of the numerous things they did. And this is what I mean. And I've noticed this, and it's just a theory. Most mothers or ex-mothers really think they have some kind of female power that they can cover the baby daddy in that situation. Like the baby dad's mom was like, tell her that I said, pick up the phone. He's like, you really think that stupid shit gonna work? Yes, because I am a mother too, and I'm her elder, and she's gonna bow down to my power. And your mothers, aunties, and sisters will send you off on this ego trip, and get you stabbed in the back and burned 10, 20 times before they say, oh, this bitch she just rogue. No shit. She rogue just like y'all rogue. Y'all did the same thing. That's another power in there, though. Powers of a baby mother, you could You can absolve. You can just delete your own history. You know, because as being a baby mom, nobody is supposed to be able to remember what you did. Because one thing that people say about women, I say about women, is a woman will take a lie to her grave. So, like I said, these powers are somewhat messed up, but one of the powers of a baby mama is that she'll ride a lie out for her whole life, as long as she's getting a comfortable lifestyle out of it, or the ability to get a comfortable lifestyle out of it. She doesn't care. And she knows society and other people will simp for her. And that's one of the other powers, also, a society simping. Because the bulk of a country was really raised by their mother. So mothers have this deified to the point where they can do no wrong. So anytime a mother says something, you get this programmed response from men, women, and children. Well, if he hit her with a baseball bat when she was 3, that's so wrong of him. That's what she says, and she's a mother, and because I have a mother, I can't respect a man who, hit her upside the head when she was 3 with a baseball bat. They didn't know each other when they both were 3 years old, right? They didn't grow up in the same area. But she has to remember it because she's a mother. And I have a mother, and my mother remembers things that happen at 3. So if you got 2 3-year-olds in a room, one can hit the other upside the head with like a plastic baseball bat as a toy. That's logical, but no, that's not what a mother means. She means he was a grown-ass 3-year-old man, and he abused her. And we have to take this into consideration because she's a mother, and I have a mother, and I want to protect my mother. And it is what it is. And, part of that power is forgiveness. Because, all the chickens come home to roost. And what winds up happening a lot of the times is you find out your mother has been doing some real terrible things for years. And you come to find out the truth, and what do? I gotta forgive her because she's my mother. I just can't see a life without my lying ass mom who continues to lie to me, and I had to find out the truth as a grown ass adult. And now I look at her differently, but I was taught to hate my father more, so I gotta hate him, even though he's been lied on for 25 years. But I forgive her. She won't lie to me again. 25 years straight, and she's just done. It's not like it's a part of her personality or anything. So these are some of the powers of a baby mama. I'm just saying. We out.